Let's go to page 186 and do number 34. Okay, so you have 4u squared, 4u to the 4 v squared plus 4u squared v plus 1. Okay, so again, let's go through the checklist. So step 1, common factor. That's nothing in common to factor out. Then you go to step 2. So 2 terms, 3 terms, more than 3 terms. So this is 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. So 3 terms, check for the perfect square, the trinomial square. Okay, and so before you even do that check, this is a square, this is a square, so it works, right? So get your template ready, okay? Then you break it down. So to get 4, you need to have 2, right? 2 squared give you 4. To get a u to the 4, you need to get u squared. To get a v squared, you need to have v. And so this came from these. And then this, you're going to get plus 1. Okay, 1 squared give you 1. Okay, and you have to multiply all this together to see if it matches the middle term. See, right now you're just guessing. Okay, but you have to check, see if your guess is correct. Okay, so sign, check. Number 2 times 1 times 2 give you 4. Alphabet, check. So this is it. Okay. Okay, number 36. You have 250x squared minus 2x to the 5. Okay, so let's go to step 1, common factor. Okay, so you can factor out the 2 and x squared. Okay, so that's step 1. You can factor out the 2 and the x squared. So this one you factor out the 2, you get 125. Okay, and x squared is gone already. Okay, this one the factor out the 2, so it's gone. This one you factor out the x squared, you get x to the 3. Okay, and you want to double check very quickly. Okay, so you can double check quickly, see if your factoring is correct or not. Right, you can multiply. This times I give you that. This times I give you that. Right. Now next thing is, notice this is the cube. Okay, so you want to make into the cube form. So 125 is 5 to the 3 power. Okay, so now this becomes the cube. So again, if you go through the checklist, this is going to be the cube minus cube. So that's the difference of cube. So that's this one here. Okay? Okay, so drop this one. Now to factor out the cube, again, you get one, the parenthesis the same size, and you get another one that's bigger. Okay? Okay, so to do the cube, you just get rid of that. You want to get a single power. So it'll be 5 minus x. Okay? So now you have to use, you can use either this or this, right? But this is probably easier if you're going to do the multiplying. If you're going to use a square, then you can use this one. But anyway, let's use this one. So this one, to get that, you need to get 25. Okay, you can square that. Okay, square that, you get that, right? 5 times 25 give you 125. Okay, so again, to get this, either you can square that or you can multiply. So you can multiply this times I give you that, or square that. 5 squared give you 25. X squared will give you x squared. Okay, now over here, this is going to be opposite of this, right? So you need to get plus 5x. Okay? And so once you do that, and that's it. Okay? Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, you got p to the 4 minus q to the 4. Okay, so you can go to the checklist. Step 1, common factor, cannot. Step 2, 2 terms, check for difference of square. So this is square minus square. Again, if the exponent is even, it's a square. Okay, so for the square, you just break it down, right? So to get p to the 4, you need to get p squared, right? So p squared times p squared give you p to the 4. To get minus, you need to get plus, minus. Now always put a plus first, okay? Again, there's a good reason for that. Always put a plus in the front, put a minus in the back. To get this, you're going to get q squared. Okay? And the reason for that is because when the plus is done already, but it's minus, you can do it one more time and you can line up. If you put in the front, it's going to get in the way. Okay, so you don't want to do minus plus because it's going to get in the way. Okay, so this first one is done. Then this one you have to do it one more time again. So that way you can line it up, and this one you can expand. Okay, that's the reason you always do plus first and then minus. So again, to get p squared, you need to get p times p. To get minus, you do plus minus. To get q squared, you get q. Okay, and that's it. Okay, let's go to number 40. Okay, you got 64 minus z to the 6. Okay, so again, let's go through these. Okay, so step 1, common factor, cannot. Okay, so step 2, two terms, check for difference of square. So this is the perfect square, right? This is the a square. So this is the 2a. Okay, so let's get two sets of parentheses. So to get 64, I need to get 8 and 8. Okay, to get minus, I need to get plus minus. To get z to the 6, I need to get z3, right? Okay, now if you notice a cube, right? And this is the two cubes. So I'm going to do the cubes. So this is the sum of the cubes. Again, you have to go, once you factor, you have to continue the steps. Okay, so this is the sum of the cubes. This is the difference of cube. But before I factor right away, I'm going to kind of do things make it a little bit more obvious. So the 8 I'm going to make into 2 to the 3. Okay, and I know when I factor, I need a space over here, right? So I'm going to move this one over here. So it'd be 2 to the 3 minus z cubed. Okay, so I'm ready to factoring. So to factor the cube, I need to get one parenthesis below it, and another one is bigger. This one the same size, another one is bigger. Okay, so that's going to factor this first. Okay, so to factor the cube, you just cover up the cube, so it'd be 2 plus z. Okay, and now again, if you use this, if you use this one, you just square that. If you use this, just multiply, right? So either way, so 2 times 4 give you 8, or you square the 2 give you 4. So you can do either the squaring or multiplying. So again, from here to here, you need to get times by z squared, right? Z times z squared give you z cubed, or square that, you get that. So either method. Now this over here, you have to do the opposite of that, so it would be minus 2z. Okay. Over here, again, you cover up the cube. So it would be 2 minus z. And to get that, again, you square that, you get 4. You square that, you get plus z squared. The middle term is opposite of that, so it would be plus 2z. Okay? And so that's it. Okay? Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so I can go to the checklist. Step 1, common factor cannot. Step 2, 2 terms, 3 terms, more than 3 terms. So this is more than 3 terms, so you have to try the grouping. Okay, again, when you're doing the grouping, they're just going to group the way it is, unless you get stuck. And again, you always put a plus between the group. Okay, and this would be a minus b. Again, this plus actually come over here, but just don't write it. Okay, so that's going to now. So you got one complicated problem, you break into 2 smaller problems. So you do each one individually, so focus on this half. So it means you have to start all over. So this one is step 1, step 2a, right? The difference of square. Okay, so let's go and factor that. So it'd be a times a give you a squared, plus times minus give you minus, b times b give you b squared. Okay, so now we're done with that. So let's get rid of that. And this one is 90 to factor, so just leave it alone. Okay. Okay. Now after you've done each half, you bring them back together. Okay. And if you notice there is a minus b, you got a minus b, right? So you can when you bring it back together, you have to start all over again. So you go back to step 1. Okay. And so you do the common factor. This is a common factor. You can take it out. Okay. So you got a minus b. So once you factor out, this is gone, right? and the leftover would be a plus b. Now, when everything is gone, when you factor, you're dividing. So when you a minus b divided by a minus b is 1, so it'd be plus 1. Okay, so again, when you factor everything out, it's 1. Okay, because factor means dividing. So when you divide by itself, you get 1. And you can check, right? This times this give you that, this times that give you that. So if you don't have these, then you won't be able to get this back. Okay, and that's it. Okay, let's go to 44. You got x plus y to the 3 power plus x minus y to the 3 power. Okay, so obviously this is going to be a cube, but notice there's something inside. So if you look at the cube, this is the sum of the cubes, right? But notice there's no parentheses, and these are parentheses. So this gets complicated. So what you want to do is when things get complicated, you want to use a substitution technique. Okay? And you can use any letters. Since x and y are already chosen, so I'm going to make this into capital A and make this into capital B. Okay? So this becomes a to the 3 plus b to the 3. Okay? So now I can go and factor. Okay, so I can go and factor using these. Okay? Okay. So I get one set of parentheses and one bigger parentheses, right? So factor out the cube, I just go and cover up the cube, so I get a plus b. Okay? Then after that, to get a cube, I need a square, right? So you can multiply to get that or just square that. So a, you square that, you get that. You square that, you get these, right? So there are two ways you can do it. You can square that to get that, or you can use this times this to get that. Either way, you get the same. Now the middle term is going to be opposite of that, so it'll be minus ab. Okay. So after you're done factoring, you're going to substitute back in there. Okay. And I'm going to need more space. Okay. So a is x plus y. Again, whenever you substitute, put in parentheses. Okay. b is x minus y. Okay. Now a square, so it'd be x plus y square. Right. That's your a square minus a is x plus y. Again, do substitution only, okay? Do one step at a time to avoid a lot of careless mistakes. Okay, so that's a, that's b, now plus b squared. Okay, so again, that's your a squared, that's a squared minus a b plus b squared. Okay, so again, after you're done factoring, you substitute back. Okay, don't try to substitute and multiply at the same time. One thing at a time to avoid a lot of careless mistakes. Okay, the next thing is let's get rid of all the parentheses. Okay, so it'd be x plus y plus x minus y. Okay, this one you square that, you're going to get x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. Now this one I have to be careful. I'm going to do an intermediate steps over here. Okay, so that's a minus over here. And when I multiply this, I get x squared minus y squared. Okay, okay. So again, this is the conjugate, become the difference of squares. So x squared minus y squared. Okay, and there's a minus in front. So when you distribute, this becomes minus x squared plus y squared. So you have to be careful with the negative. Okay. Next one. Now if it's plus, then it works out fine. But when there's a minus in front, you got to be extremely careful. Okay, this one you're going to give you x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. Okay. Okay, so now we're ready to simplify. Okay. So this, the y minus y cancel out. So this will be just 2x. Okay. Now this one, let's go and do the x squared and do the x 1 power and no x. So you got x squared minus x squared cancel out. And you got x squared over here. Okay. So you got x squared. Now let's go and do the x to the 1 power. So you got x to the 1 power here and x to the 1 power here. And it's kind of nice because they cancel out. Okay, so now let's go and do the y, the one with no x. So y squared. And notice I use different shapes, right? Okay, so this be plus 3y squared. Okay, and that's it. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, you got u to the 3 minus v to the 3 minus u squared v plus uv squared. Okay, so you can go to the checklist. Step 1, common factor. There's nothing in common to factor out. Step 2, special factors. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So more than 3 terms, you have to do the grouping. Okay, so let's go and group this together. And again, you put a plus between the group. Okay, and then you're going to get minus u squared v plus uv squared. Okay. Okay, next, so you break a complicated problem into 2 smaller, easier problems. So let's go and focus on the first half. Okay, so you have to. So when you break up, means you got new problems, so you got to start all over again. So step 1, common factor cannot. Step 2, no. Then obviously this is the difference of cubes, right? Okay, so that's this one here. Okay, so let's go and factor that. So to do the cube, it's, again, just get rid of the cube, so it'd be u minus v, okay? And you square that, you get u squared, or, again, 2 methods. You can either square this and square that, right? Minus square, you get positive, right? So you can square that, get that, square that, get that, or you can, this times that give you that, this times that give you that. So 2 methods, you can use either one, okay? And the middle term would be opposite of that, so it would be plus uv. Okay, so that takes care of the first half. Now let's go and focus on the second half. Okay, now whenever you have a negative, you have to factor out the negative. Okay, so factor out the negative, and you can factor out the u and the v. So this one, you factor out the negative uv, you're going to get u left over. Now this is the plus. So when you factor out the negative, it becomes minus. And you factor out the uv, so it becomes v. So what you want to do, you always do a quick check. So this times that give you that, yes, right? Negative uv times u give you negative u squared v. This times that, negative times negative give you positive. uv times v give uv squared. So check. So again, do a quick check. So now you've done each half individually. Now you're going to bring them back together, okay? And if you notice that there's a u minus v, then you can factor it out. So you got u minus v. And once you factor out, they are gone, right? So now the leftover would be u squared plus uv plus v squared minus uv, right? This, right? You take it out, and whatever leftover is going to be in that parentheses. But over here, if you notice that you have the plus uv minus uv, so they cancel out. So your answer would be u minus v. You got u squared plus v squared. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, number 48. You have a plus b to the 4 minus a minus b to the 4. Again, when things get very messy, okay, you can use substitution. Okay, so it's not as complicated. And after you're done factoring, you can bring it back, you substitute back. So that this equal to x, that this equal to y. Right? They are not the same, so do that. So this becomes x to the 4 minus y to the 4. Okay? So now it's much easier to factor, right? Okay, now you're ready to do factoring. So step 1, common factor, cannot. So step 2, 2 terms, difference of square, so yeah, okay. So that's going to factor that. So you're going to get x squared, right? X will give you x to the 4, plus minus give you, plus or minus give you minus, and you need to get y squared, right? And this one can factor again. So you have to do this one more time. So this becomes x plus minus y, right? Again, this times that give you that, right? This give you that, this give you that, this give you that, right? Okay, So once you're done with factoring, now you can go and put everything back. Okay. So when you substitute, you again put in parentheses. Okay. So again, when you're doing the x, right, this is this part right over here. That's the x and that's the y. Okay. Okay. So x is a plus b. So a plus b squared plus the y squared, so it would be a minus b squared. Okay. So this is this over here. This one is this one here. Okay. The next one, you're going to get a plus b. So that's this one here plus a minus b. Okay, that's this one here. Okay, and then the next one you got a plus b minus a minus b. Okay, so again, so this is this one here, this one is this one. Okay, the next step is let's get rid of all the parentheses. Okay, so the square, again, you need to know how to multiply the perfect squares. Shortcut, so you're going to get a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So basically, you square that, you get that, you square that, get that, and you get the middle term. So 2 times a times b give you the middle term. Okay, this one over here plus, so you're going to get a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, so again, so this is this over here, this is this over here. This one, just get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of parentheses. This one, same thing, so you don't have to multiply, so a plus b. Now you have to be careful with the minus, would be minus a plus b. Okay? Okay, so now we can switch the bracket back in parentheses. Okay, but first let's go ahead and simplify. So this one and this one, so it'd be 2a squared. So you can do the a squared and then do the a power. So 2ab minus 2ab cancel out. And then you have this process, so it'd be plus 2b squared. Okay, so this one and this one. Okay, let's go and do the second one. So the b and minus b cancel out, so it's just 2a. Okay, and this one, the a and minus a cancel out, so it'd be 2b. Okay, we're almost done. Now, but notice over here, you can factor out the 2. So you can factor out the 2 from here. So you get a squared plus b squared. And you got 2a and 2b. Now you have to simplify, so you have to put in all this to the front, because normally you write the number, the alphabet, and the group. Okay, so you got 2 times 2 times 2, so you get 8. So number is 8, and the alphabet is a and b. And the group is a squared plus b squared. Okay, and that's it. So this one is quite challenging, but if you just do it step by step, and then it's not too bad.